I'm joined by Hoboken Councilwoman Jen Giattino from the 6th Ward. She's the second longest serving member currently on the City Council, and she is running for re-election. She's running for a fourth term on the City Council. Ms. Giattino, thank you for joining me here on Hudson TV. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
You have stated recently that the quality of life is not really what it should be within the city, that the administration doesn't seem to necessarily have that as its main focus. Can you elaborate a little bit about that for me? Well, what do you see as the main issue there?
I just think it's maintaining things. Like, our parks need to be better maintained. Nothing's done proactively. It has to be at a request of someone to get it done. When you see garbage cans that are overflowing, everything takes a phone call to get it done. It's just not happening on its own, which it should happen in a city like Hoboken.
Have you been when you walk around? You're a professional realtor, so you do a lot of walking around the city anyway. When you walk around your ward, is that one of the main things that you've been hearing from your neighbors, that
Oh yeah,
the city isn't clean?
Yeah, I ran into a woman recently who left Hoboken during COVID and moved away, and she just recently moved back, and she lived in the 6th Ward when she moved away, and she lived in the 6th Ward when she came back, and she's like, I don't know what's going on. The park, the weeds are overgrown in the park. There's garbage in the park. There's lots of people throwing food in the park, which is not, feeding the pigeons in the park, which just adds to our rodent problem. And she's like, I just feel like something's changed. So, and at the doors, a lot of people say that as well. They just feel like it's not a priority for the city. The everyday, what you really want your local politicians doing, maintaining the city, they don't feel like that's going on.
Now, a lot of this relates to the situation currently with rat infestation, rodents. City Council has taken steps, a lot of which, at your initiative, with regard to the so-called streeteries. Just talk about where things are right now. What have been the steps that the council has taken to try to stem this rodent problem, and what other things might be done if these steps that have been taken have not been enough at this point, in your opinion?
I don't think it's enough. And I also, although I've put forward legislation, I'm clearly not an expert in rodent control. I do think the city needs to hire someone who is an expert to oversee everything, because, I can put forward legislation, another person can put forward legislation, and these things help. They definitely help, but we're not going to cure the problem unless we're like, it has to be taken on by someone who is literally leading everything and attacking everything at the same time. I can do stuff in the 6th Ward, but the reality, even if I got rid of all the rats in the 6th Ward by some miracle, it's not like they know boundaries and aren't going to come in from the 5th Ward. And then you can take that even further. We can get rid of the rats in Hoboken, but if Jersey City and Weehawken still have them, they're just going to come back here. So I think it has to be a much broader approach.
Hey, and for people that may not understand exactly what the streeteries are, there's a difference between having these little outside venues, or
so I'll explain that. I know where you're going.
Okay, there's a difference between having a permanent structure next to the curb that's raised up above the street versus having astroturf on the blacktop of the street, so you can clean it easier. That's basically what the main issue has been.
Yes. So the ones that have the area where rodents can stay, people are calling them like rodent hotels. Those are the ones that I get the complaints about. People send me photos of them and you can see rodents in the photos. But the streetery, which is the astroturf, there's nowhere for a rodent to go underneath that. And also it can be easily removed, easily cleaned. And some places may use their parklets year round, but many of them do not. And it also then gives back parking during those months that they're not using them.
All right. So aside from this issue of rodent infestation, what are some of the other main issues that you see, that you've been hearing from your neighbors and your constituency within the 6th Ward, that you want to talk about?
Um, it actually, this has been the most fun I've had door knocking, probably in all the times that I've done it. Because my ward expanded during the last, when they did the last redistricting, my ward expanded. So I have a bunch of new buildings that I've never walked before. And my favorite thing is door knocking and listening to people, but especially meeting people is one of the things I love to do. And I feel like this time I've had people thank me for running again. Thank me for my service over the last 12 years, tell me things that I've done for them, how I've helped them. It feels very different than it has the last 3 times in a very positive way. But people are talking to me more about like, I know you helped so-and-so with this. Thank you for that. I know you helped so-and-so with this. Thank you for that. Oh, I know you got a stop sign here. Thanks for, thank you for that. It's been the most rewarding past 2 months than I've had in a really long time.
It seems like each time that you run, you're in a 3-way battle. And again, you have 2 opponents. Why do you think that is?
I don't know. The first time was only the 2 of us.
I mean, citizen involvement is obviously very good, but it just seems like you always seem to be.
I always feel like I have the hardest.
2 opponents as opposed to 1.
Yes, I feel like I do always have it the hardest. Maybe the other side has it figured out. Like, if we have 2, there'll have to be a runoff, I think is the goal.
What about the city's budget? It's safe to say everyone that lives within the city that might not even be a 6th ward resident, they know that you're a quote unquote frequent, for lack of a better term, critic of the administration. Is the budget in the city bloated in your opinion? Are there areas where cuts can be made that are logical in your mind?
I think our biggest problem with the budget is we have a lot of one shots into the budget. We had the American Rescue money, and we have these funds that come into the budget for that 1 year, which help us to keep the budget flat, or I'll call it just, a small percentage raise. But then the years we don't have that, the swing up is so high. And that's what really hurts people when when it's such a wide range from year to year. If every year it was 3% and you kind of knew the increase is going to be 3%, you can plan and budget for the budget. You could budget for that. But the issue is it can be flat, it can be 7%. I just think we need to do a better job at keeping the budget stable. And there are things, there's things that can be cut. There are things that obviously cannot be cut, like healthcare price costs are healthcare costs. And we can try to bring them in a little bit, but every year they go up, and they go up for everyone. I feel it every year with my own health insurance. But then you look, we have a spokesman for the city. We have a spokesperson for public safety. And then we have the person who was the spokesperson before, who literally just moved over one desk and got a different title, but is still a spokesperson. Do we need 3 people doing, the same job? And not that any of them aren't qualified to do it. They're all perfectly qualified to do it, but do we really need 3 people doing that job? So I think there's definitely places that they could trim.
Okay. Any other main topics you want to touch upon before we wrap?
Just vote for me, Jen Giattino.
Is there a website or a social media that you want to throw out there that people can, learn more about you?
On social media, on Facebook and Instagram, I am Jen for Hoboken.
Is it the number 4 or the word FOR?
FOR.
Okay. Well, Ms. Giattino, and I also should mention during your tenure, you have been council president. I believe it's been 4 separate occasions?
I think 5.
5 separate occasions? Okay, so you've had the experience of not only being on the council, but leading the council as well. I want to thank you for joining me here on Hudson TV. Best of luck in the campaign. We've only got a few weeks left. I guess go hit the pavement with your dog.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Okay, you too. Thanks again.
Thanks. Bye-bye.